Yeah, this is a win podcast surprise. I just feel like doing a podcast. Now I am not going to get to any of your comments because that would be highly dangerous. You know, but we're going to talk our way all the way down in a little bit, but a little bit of ways down the interstate, and maybe just maybe with their ears on. Every once in a while. Yeah, win podcast surprise. Why? Because you know. Let's see what we got here. We got McCon. McCon, I'm going for sure. Where am I? I am in Georgia. Georgia, getting out of Georgia. I've got to head down further down south. Now the problem is I got an hour service problem. More than likely, I'm probably not gonna make it. Hold on. Yeah, more than likely, I am probably not gonna make it because I've got to change the red airline. Yeah, I've got to change a red airline. Now you may be able to see me change said red airline, or at least remove said red airline, not put one back on. Now, yeah, this is a wind podcast surprise. Surprise, surprise, everybody. Why? Because I felt like it. Now, like I said, I'm not going to. As you hear, there's the reason I am not doing probably not going to get too many of your comments because I'm freaking on the road. Would be highly dangerous, especially at this time of the day. It is happy hour on the East Coast, and I've already seen a fender bender. But those in the comment section, welcome, welcome. As I said, I'm doing a little podcast all the way down. Now, I know I didn't steal any souls either, because I'm not the devil. And the lights didn't go out, which is a good thing, mostly for me. Oh, sorry about that. The lights didn't go out, which is a good thing, mostly for me. So, let's see. Who's in the comment section? Just leave. I get to you whenever I see it. But this is just basically pretty much a rolling podcast. Things that I see. Now, what keeps me from? No, what the? Yes, I did. I mean, right now I'm in a pod. I'm kind of in a rolling podcast. Holy shit! Yeah, I can. All right. All right. Hold. Well, not well. 1 second. We got a little technical difficulty here.
Big Tall Life and Stone Reaper, greetings. And now how do I get over to the left side and nobody's gonna let me? Well, I will hold shit up. I will most certainly hold shit up until people let me over. I'm going to hold shit up. I will hold shit up. You're gonna let me over? Anybody? No? I will creep until you let me over. Okay. Wow, you're a smart one. Yeah. Can you gents hear me? Am I coming in clear? All right, cool, beautiful. Now, what had just happened was I had a little slowdown. Oh, there's Yam. Welcome, Yam.
Really
How you
that
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I got your message. I'm
Hold on,
here.
I gotta fix my audio.
Yeah, there's a lot less wind. There needs to be more wind sounds if it's gonna be a wind stream. Come on. Come on. What's up, everybody? Party people? Stone Reaper? Big Tall Life? Red? Don't know how long I'm gonna be here for. But I'm hoping I can add some interesting thoughts to whatever the topic is.
Yeah, I am now here. Guess what? I had audio, you know? You know how that goes.
It happens. It happens.
Oh, hell. Here we go again. We've got stupid Central right here. Yes, I am. Yeah, what's up?
Oh man, I just heard the most sickening thing that I ever hear. I think you might know, but somebody told me that they hope that the second wave of coronavirus comes in and proves all the dumbass Republicans wrong. That's what they actually were wishing and hoping for.
That's gonna back that. Well, let me break this to you. It might prove the Democrats wrong, so they better not get their hopes up because.
Well, it's the government's fault that the shutdown happened. So I mean,
it's not just the government's fault. It's not just the government's fault. It's individuals' fault. It's an individual's fault. It's individuals' people's fault that the shutdown happened. Because if those cats would have just basically would have saw people getting sick and would have never they saw it on the cruise ships, and if they would have just ate the charges of the goddamn trip, now on top of that, if they wouldn't have decided to go on spring break because they wanted to blow off steam, wanted to get laid, wanted to sit up here and travel bar to bar to bar.
It's just so silly that the spring breakers don't get blamed. The protesters don't get blamed.
Just the government.
But the people that want to open up, they get blamed.
Right. We would have had this problem squashed. We got these entitled ass children. We would have had this problem squashed, done and over with, and back to our normal everyday lives. But people felt they felt entitled that they deserve a spring break. So So it's not just the government's fault. On top of that, you know why I blame the Democrats as well? While they were busy trying to impeach this current person in office, they could have been figuring out. They could have been working together. Once they don't know how to work together. They haven't known how to work together for hundreds of years. So they better don't go around about saying another wave of corona when neither party, whoever was in office, Democrat, Republican, the person who sucked you off or the person who didn't suck you off, because it would have been his fault too, any way, shape, or form. Hell, if it was a chick in office, it'd be her fault. So
right.
Go right ahead. Try to blame that, because I guarantee you, if it was a woman in office, guess whose fault would that be? It would be much worse.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, none of this will go away if Trump were to go away tomorrow. We'd still be facing all the problems.
It's here to stay. Just because people are so selfish and entitled.
Well, they're stupid too. They're not. They don't think about the consequences of their behavior, and it's
right.
They just blame some. They need to be able to blame somebody else for it.
They don't want to take responsibility for their actions. It's just that simple. Men and women do not take responsibility for their actions. If I would have ran this truck into somebody's ass end, I'd have to be responsible.
Right.
If something would have happened and somebody on the side of the road gets sucked underneath my trailer, guess who's responsible? Me. I take responsibility for not taking the freaking proper measures to ensure that there's enough space. Holy shit. A truck in front of the Titan truck. I'm going to flash my headlights. You're going to have smoke coming underneath your truck. You might want to check that out. It looks like diesel. It looks like got a exhaust, but I'm not sure. But if something would have happened, yeah, it's like billowing smoke. If something would have happened, if something would have happened to where somebody gets anything happens, any bodily harm happens to anybody, and it's from my truck, I'm at fault. I take responsibility. That's the thing about a CDL. I do not want none of these blame everybody else people on the road. It's bad enough as it is. Because you know what? I want them behind the wheel of a commercial motor vehicle. You know why? Because they will be forced to take responsibility for their actions.
They don't need conservatives.
No. I want them on the road, because it will force them to be an adult. Force them to take responsibility for their actions.
Yeah. Well, it's just that, like, they talk about two different things that will require the other side in order to accomplish, but they never want to take responsibility for them being like not wanting to cooperate and what.
You know what I think? You know what I hope a Democrat gets in office.
Me too.
To prove the rest of these fools wrong.
Exactly. I hope that I might even vote Democrat just so I can see them be like.
The only reason I vote Republican is to stave off what's getting ready to happen. What's probably going to happen. The only reason I vote Democrat is to speed it along. To keep it chugging along at a faster pace. At warp speed to fuck 9. I'm kind of at a crossroads here. Do I want to speed this along, or do I want to slow it down? Either way, I'm screwed. I don't know yet, Like I said, if you want to send a link to Takeo, you can send it, and double I send it,
Well, it's hard for me to take any sort of. I just don't see the Democratic Party as housing anybody that has like wisdom.
No, they don't.
No one's actually had a lot of experience, but that's the reason why I want to put them into office, is because like I really just at this point I just want to see them try to handle these issues in a different way than they're already being handled.
We're fucked either way. Let me break this to you.
Right.
Democrat, Republican, left, right, conservative, liberal, or progressive. We are screwed. You know? They don't care me. Do you think them young Democrats care about you? Do you honestly think that?
Right.
Do you think the Republicans care about you? Honestly.
Yeah, I don't even, dude. Honestly, like no one really true in politics truly cares about
The only thing they care
somebody else. Because they're at the end of the day, they just see a person as a voter. You there, buddy? Hello?
Oh, what the hell?
Wind? Okay, I hear you now.
Hey, I gotta fix my audio again. God damn it.
You're fine. And what's up, Maytop Thread? Yeah. Everything's good, man. I'm more or less okay. It's just that when I heard that today, really just it was sickening. It was sickening to me. Like wishing bad on somebody for the greater good is akin to pretty much socialism for the most part. Like if you see somebody who's loving life and your immediate reaction is to wish harm upon that person, and you justify that not based on your own personal interests, but on the fact that you don't agree with what that person says, and you think that that person's success is detrimental to the greater good, that's socialism. And it's like when I hear people say this, I'm like, did you remember the Holocaust happened? Are you even consciously aware that just 60 or 70 years ago, we had just gotten out of a bunch of people agreeing that sickness was like people were sick and they needed a solution in order to solve the problem of just people being dirty and sick? Like, are you aware that just under a century ago, we were doing that? We had the same mentality, and there were people who were wishing bad on other people just because they were more financially prosperous. Like this literally just happened, and now people seems like they have forgotten that how Nazism and how the socialist left it basically comes into power. Like they come in through these lines of attack, through the lines of attack where people are sick, through the lines of attack where the economy is down.
All you have to do is talk to a World War II. All you have to do is talk to World War II veterans on both sides.
Yeah.
On both.
That's literally
sides.
all that's missing. That literally is missing from the dialogue now, because I mean, all the old people died of coronavirus, but like to be real serious, it's like any old viewpoint, if it's not rich and liberal, is basically thrown boomered or thrown to the wayside. And that's the only reason why the only reason why those older rich viewpoints are held in, because they never fought in a war or anything. They lived here as Hollywood moguls or financial consultants. They never shot a single bullet in any of the conflict that happened. And now they had claimed to have some sort of idea of how this stuff should all go according to plan. Which it's like, how do I trust that you have any experience when you never contributed to a single thing other than your own greedy motivations for the past 40 years?
Old people lie, young people die.
Right.
Old people lie, young people die.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that is whispered among the ranks of branches of service. It's something that's why Trump got in. He appealed to the military. He appealed to the military. He appealed to a lot of issues, a lot of conservative things, and that's how he got in.
Right. Exactly how he got in. And call it what you will, but I mean, like, yeah, exactly. He made people feel like there's still an opportunity for somebody who's actually been in a situation where they had to think on their feet. See, we're all really comfortable in the lockdown, and that's something I noticed with a lot of people, where they're willing to justify really anything that allows them to just be complacent. And it's kind of it's sad, but it's true that most if not all, or like 99.9% of all of the liberals that basically hate Donald Trump, they're all furloughed, or they're all non-essential, or they're all like, of course you got some people who work like a conservative leaning job. Yeah, they don't contribute anything to society.
Idiots.
They contribute nothing to society.
They're useless. They would contribute more to society in a lab, getting experimented on than they do right now.
There was these programs when I was in school where they would pay you like $2,500 or like $3,000 to go in and get tested the nicotine patch on, which is weird because, like, if you're 20 years old, it's kind of a strange demographic to be testing nicotine patches. When, like, if you on privileged college students and stuff, people who didn't necessarily start smoking at the age of 13, like the majority of smokers. So it's weird that you're like testing it on a bunch of these kids who are desperate for money, just even though like you're not going to yield any tangible results, because most people who need the patch are like older and they have like a developed habit. Whereas like if you're in college, you probably just started smoking like in one of those years that you started because one of your college buddies smoked or something like that. It's just there's very low likelihood that you're going to actually hit your target sample or like your target group when you're like testing on college age students. But it's just interesting because you said that, and it's true. Like when you're in college studying your gender studies degree, you made a little bit of money on the side and getting donating plasma, doing science, or doing doing tests, doing like lab tests and stuff like that. And that's basically how they made their side. That was like their side hustle, being a lab rat. And funnily enough, you also have the mouse utopia experiments, which pretty much predict all of this kind of like social dysfunction and the like the competence hierarchy and things like that, where it's like you have in concentrated population centers, you have like a bunch of people who are just useless, like they just they don't contribute anything to the society. And then to compound that kind of like mice in a cage situation, you also have the fact that our society has laws that benefit one side of the spectrum way more than the other. which creates just like a huge amount of pressure. Like if a guy gets in trouble or if a woman gets in trouble for a crime, she's gonna get a slap on the wrist. Whereas if a guy gets a slap on the crime or gets accused of a crime, he gets the whole freaking book thrown at him for the most part. And it's just stupid shit like that. That just like it just makes me pissed. Like I can't. Some days I just look up at the sky. I'm like, why? And then to make matters worse, you have people who don't even realize that they are the next Reichstag or whatever, the Third Reich. Would it be the First Reich of America? Literally saying, I hope that you die of coronavirus because you disagree with me politically, which is kind of like an empty threat when you think about it, because coronavirus barely kills. Like, it doesn't really kill people that, like, if you look at it, if you really think about it, a lot of people want to say that Trump, like they wish Trump supporters and conservatives would die of the coronavirus. Those people are actually very healthy. People are actually very much more likely to survive the coronavirus than people who live like an alternative lifestyle, or they don't eat the right nutritious foods, or they don't have the necessary good organizational or living habits standards. They don't really have structure in their life. They're more likely to release diseases because they have a suppressed immune system because they're always wearing a mask. Like, if you think about it, people on the left are probably more susceptible to coronavirus.
Yeah.
That's just a thought, though. That's just a thought.
Sorry about that. Every time I get a phone call, it messes the audio up, and it's like there's been 2 people that have called me, and it's like, God damn, You know how that works. Hey, dog, I'm need you to get your paw off my foot.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's no other solution in this day and age for all these problems other than just to go your own way and clutch your wallet close to you. There's no need to spend frivolously. Like, I thought about it the other day. I was like, why would I spend money? There's literally no reason for me to spend money unless it's like something that I want to buy. And then,
for survival. Like, my next large purchase is hopefully going to be a crossbow.
Yeah, and then like people try to equate that to, the whole sexual liberation thing. It's like, look, if I don't use it, if I don't use my money, if I don't use my resources, they just get bigger. Like, I don't lose my money just because I don't spend it on you.
Right.
And that's the thing that I think that people are waking up to that. They're realizing that, you know what, I don't have to participate.
Right. Men, women, some women are waking up to this. And many of them don't like it. Like I said, hey, Dan, you're my eyes right now. Please give a shout out to the people.
Oh, shout out. Yeah. Hello, Sifu. Hello, New Era McTown Monk. Hello. Again, I think that was everybody. I think that's everybody. Thank you guys for listening to this. This is mostly because McTown the Wind keeps having to take a phone call for some reason.
Yeah, and it's like that. The fact that I'm on the road, and it's like I've got to get to the next truck stop and change my my red airline, because that's the airline that keeps things working.
Which one is it? Which airline?
The red one.
The red one. Red airline?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what keeps the trailer brakes from locking up. That and the fact that I need fuel.
Nice. Whatever it is, as long as it's not American Airlines, they suck.
I know. Or Delta.
Banning people. Yeah, they're banning people indefinitely for not wearing a mask. They're saying just no.
And basically what it is they're the pissing contest who could treat their who could treat customers the worst. You know?
Yeah.
It's a
Because those
pissing
are the ones
contest.
that are going to last. Yeah, those are the ones that companies are going to invest in, like the private corporations that can, like, administrate their philosophy and empower corporate synergy. Like
Okay,
all
let
the
me break this to you. All they would have
whoever can double speak the most and treat their constituents like absolute garbage. That's the future. Like, put your money into that.
you know what
Literally
that
put your
should
money into that
cause?
right now. What are you doing?
I'm driving. You know what that should cause?
I'm driving.
That should cause people to get their pilot's license and purchase their own aircraft and open their own airports. That should, you know what, that right there should have people. That would provoke me to get a pilot's license. Don't get off my.
Well, yeah, it's a good point that you bring up, because like why haven't people thought about that before? Most likely because there's already enough of airlines out there, but be like, oh, I'm gonna just start my own airport.
Let me break this to you. If I had think I would pay people, I would get my rights to charter people from one end of the world to the next. I would buy a small aircraft first. I would start my own airport, or at least rent a hangar. You'd be surprised how much money you can make chartering people from one place to another. All you gotta do is pay for the cost of the JP5 of the fueling cost, and guess what? You've got yourself a working airline. It's going to be a private airline, but it's a working airline.
Well, like, I feel like it's just kind of like it's weird, because in the modern day, you have a kind of tourism definitely takes a huge hit for this, and like hospitality industries suffer for it. Everything down from like the corporate world just gets a chokehold, because like tourism is a big part of how like a lot of the states make their money, and you just shut it down. You shut it completely down, and you ban people.
Now,
like, you could tell that there's a concerted effort.
Well, I'm going to say this wouldn't fly in America. I wouldn't start an airline in America. You know why? Because we're too impatient. We want stuff now, because and corporations know about this. All they got to do is stonewall you in America. You know.
To make you emote, to like make you uncomfortable. They just like hold you up.
So yeah, hold you up. All they got they got the air traffic controllers. All I got to do is start the company international, overtake the airline international in places where there are not too many airports. You know, like the Philippines. It's pretty much the Wild Wild West there. Philippines, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't really know how bad it is over there.
All you're doing is island hopping. You know, you're island hopping. All it is. Once you get big enough, you get yourself an airport.
Yeah.
See, have you noticed that Delta, American Airlines, and the other one are all the same thing? Have you noticed that when you change your flights, you go on a different airline? Have you noticed that yet? You go from Delta to American. They're all the same company.
Yeah. Or what is it? Something Western? Best Western? No, that's a hotel.
Hotel.
But yeah, I actually have noticed that how you just it's just equal across the board. Everything's pretty much uniform. So you buy
they're all the same. They're all the same
it sucks. Like if I want to choose to fly the way I want to fly, like there should be an option for that. You know, that's
There should, but guess what? There isn't.
no, right.
Like I said, when one's lowballing, the other ones are covering it. Are paying for that person, for that lowballing company. You know?
Shit. Yeah, and
How do you think Spirit Airlines is still in play?
well, because they're super cheap.
They're super cheap. Well, I said the cost of of jet fuel, of aircraft fuel, of aviation fuel, of avgas, JP. Yes, you will cover it.
Yo, you're roboting. You're roboting.
Cover for things, right? Oh, fuck.
Start over.
Yeah, I'm going to a shitty area.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. You said the cost for fuel for like the reason why Spirit is like really cheap, still in the business.
All you're doing is paying for the cost of JP8, of the cost of avgas, of aviation gas. You know?
Yeah.
All you're doing is paying for the cost of JP8 and taxes. I mean, if push comes to shove, I could start an airline company if I wanted, if I had the money. Granted, I had the money, I could start an airline company. I literally can.
Yeah, like, but if a plane gets damaged, it's like, do they like have to scrap the whole plane, or do they just fix the parts that are wrong with it? And then, like, how old do planes stay on the runway?
For the most part, they typically try to for fighter aircraft. They have an hours of service. You know, an hours of service limit. If your aircraft basically flight hours, it's called flight hours. If it reaches a certain number of flight hours, you have to you either have to overhaul it, and it's basically how I did it was I was in the aviation community. I was in the aviation in the military. If it gets over for fighter aircraft, it's 300. I think it's 300,000 flight hours, and it has to get sent to the to either eye level or depot level. I was eye level. It has to get taken off at operation level, shipped over to intermediate level, and basically seeing and showing what parts are good, what parts are not. You know, you have to take it apart. Okay, high time. Basically, they would name the parts that are bad. High time. State the aircraft. State the part on the engine. Or like it's high time to send it to depot. Send it back up to depot.
Yeah, depot level.
Yeah, or they basically measure it out. See what tolerance it is. If it's above, if the wear is below a certain wear limit, we take the bearing and we scrap it, or we take the part and we scrap it, or we send it back to depot level, so they can deal with it as needed.
Right.
But for certain parts, you had to scrap it. Certain parts they were serialized. Now I don't know how many hours. I don't remember how many hours or flight hours for a flight aircraft before. I literally walked away from that community and went infantry.
Well, yeah. Well, just to bring it back to like the other topic, I feel like the parties, the political parties in America, they've just been driving like the same beat up,
yes,
minivan, all of them. They never replaced anything in the vehicle, no matter how much it squeaks or how much it rattles or how much it whinges.
They just turn the 8-track player up and play the music louder and put tape over the check engine, the black tape over the check engine light. They put tape over the check engine light to the strap.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's all it is. All they do.
Fucking believable.
They just want to turn the volume up on the 8-track player. They have not changed. They don't change. They don't change. They don't change the mindset. They don't change. They have their own narrative. This stuff, if it works, it works. Basically, they have it's called coffin technology advancements. When people die, that's when things get fixed. Instead of being proactive, they are reactive. That's all it is.
Yeah, and then I kind of agree with Nico about this.
That's what Americans don't want is reactive. Never want proactive.
Yeah, it's like people die. You know.
Look how the country's run.
Yeah.
Right. Look how the country is run. Look, I mean, when I was out of my hometown, there was a collapse, a roadside collapse, where a whole road collapsed.
Yeah, I had one of those too. The 35W.
Right. I mean, it was starting. It was on Route 30. Route 30, we're close to where I live. It collapsed.
Well, you know, just like a quick aside, it's like the weather in the United States has been a problem for people living here for, ever since the colony, like even back before then, but like the colonies had a hard time adapting to the weather patterns. Like the military again was reactive in many cases, and like people ended up frozen out with like the cows' heads frozen to the ground, like people.
Look at Lake Pontchartrain. Look up Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans during the Hurricane Katrina. That levee should have been changed a long time ago. I guarantee you, it's changed now.
Oh,
There are dams all up and down rivers of America that need structural maintenance, structural replacement, need to be replaced altogether. That's all it is. These structural replacements. I'm looking at some of these roads. I'm only on the East Coast. I'm afraid to see what out west looks like. Going out west looks like them roads look like trash. It's like we're running the same system, the same politics, but nobody seems to see a problem. That's the reason. Basically, the same politics are the reason the marriage rate is dropping. I mean, the same politics are the reason that there's going to be a childbirth rate drop. It's just that simple. I mean, you don't have to be smarter than the average bear to see that one.
No, and it gives us like a sad situation for academics and intellectuals, because all the problems that they're being asked to confront, they don't have any skin in the game. Like, because
they don't drive these roads; they fly in their private jets.
Yeah.
They don't drive these roads; they fly in their private jets. They don't see these roads. They don't live these laws that they make. They don't abide or observe their laws. Their laws that they create.
No, they really don't. They really don't at all.
That's because they don't have to. The only thing they have to do is make the rules and regulations, and maybe, just so maybe, hug or kiss a baby. Every once in a while, kiss a baby. Go out there, kiss a campaign and kiss a baby.
Send Biden out there.
Oh my goodness! I would never. I mean, as a response, if I was forever be a parent, I would try to be as responsible as possible. I would never let my child anywhere near that.
Yeah, you can't. You can't get caught slipping.
Freaking can't. It doesn't work that way. You can't just sit there and just cup your hand and grab a fish taco. You can't do that. Don't work that way.
And I
I think if you want to fly in a private jet, that's fine, but you just gotta realize that you know, not everything is so like cush for
Not
everybody else
everything is
in the rest
sunshine and
of the
rainbows.
country.
Not everything is sunshine, steals, and rainbows. You know, like I said, if you believe that the politicians care about you, you're an idiot. About as dumb as boxes of rocks. But it's like like I said, they don't care about you. All right,
No, they really don't.
Like I said, if they do care about you, they have a funny, messed up way of showing it. They have a really funny, messed up way of showing it. Like I said, I'm going down south. I'm looking at these roads. So far, the roads look nice. But there are some spots where it's like questionable. Luckily, I haven't blown out any tires. I got lucky. Hold up. What's going on here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? No, we're good. But these people have not changed the tire since potentially my dad was a kid, you know?
Well, yeah, not even that. It's like it's okay if you want to choose a more vintage look for your organization, because like I'm pretty much for most part sick of posterity being like the main marketing tool. Like if you look at Target, all of their corporate is like under the age of like 40 or something. It's like something crazy. Like there's some like really strange marketing strategies that I see being used. It's like it's so inverted and perverted and in the wrong direction of anything like anything logical. Like just avoids all of that stuff. That's why you can't really think. You can't think logically in this world. It's because it doesn't work logically.
It doesn't work logically anymore because feelings outweigh facts, right? Let me break this to you.
Yeah,
Here's how to remedy this. If you are a company that still has some sort of aging market, and you look at a replace people, ask a certain questions. What responsibilities in life have you taken?
yeah.
And have them produce receipts. Like me, I've had plenty of responsibilities.
Yeah, dude. It's indicative of the amount or your amount of written formal warnings and evaluations are indicative of your lifetime like grasping of responsibility.
Right.
Like if you look at men in the society, we have literally so many written formal warnings and prohibitory or probationary clauses and stuff written into contracts that we sign on a daily basis. Like even your paycheck is not necessarily yours if it can be, most of it can be taken in taxes and then withheld by somebody who you work for or whose hard work.
That was supposed to be an investment. The taxes were supposed to be an investment. Whether you believe it or not, the taxing is supposed to be an investment. The tax return was supposed to be part of the return.
It doesn't make sense anymore, though. I mean, I'm not advocating against it. I'm just saying now it just feels so rusty that like it doesn't feel good to ride in anymore. Regardless of whether there's like a welfare.
I want you to observe the cost of living now, and I'd say about the 1950s. I want you to observe the cost of living was lower. I want you to observe tax returns now and 1950s. I can almost guarantee you that they're lower. Now, I can almost guarantee you that they're lower now. If not lower now, it was easier to make things work. Now, what people fail to realize is when someone sees their tax return, basically the tax return is motivation for working. You know, seeing a decent tax return is a motivation for working. They've implemented so many messed up things. You know, so many messed up things into our day-to-day lives. Like, basically, the new tax bracket, you know? The new tax bracket.
Yeah,
That's
like the middle class being gone, basically gone.
The new tax bracket. It is what motivates people to work. It is what motivates. You know, just like when you see $1,000.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Like for me, the way that it really makes sense is like people who are on women, infant, and children, but they have like an iWatch.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
the part. Like, women and children, like, are you crazy? You get your ass out, you get your behind out there and work.
Yeah, because it's like nothing feels as good to me as like an iWatch that I worked for and paid for. But if I'm spending the money that I make right out the gate on an iWatch, and then I'm relying on women, infant, and children to like basically take up the rest of my living costs, like my opportunity costs, like it's just like it's strange to me. I don't. I don't feel like it's
You feel
well, they say in reality like the majority of wealth or the majority of anything is concentrated in 20% of the population, or like it's called the Pareto distribution. And I see kind of like that whole situation as being like a Pareto distribution. Like, yeah, some people do get to benefit from having an iWatch and have it be like, I don't particularly own it, but and also be like not financially steady. But wouldn't it be better if you were and financially steady and you had an iWatch? Like, wouldn't you be able to accomplish so much more?
right?
If that's something that you want, but
I'll be able to appreciate what you worked your behind off for.
But hey, like the reality is like it doesn't belong to them it never belonged to them in the first place.
It's a sad thing. Like they're cutting off that. Why don't you cut me? The thing is like they want to cut off benefits, right?
And yeah, they are cutting off. They cut off Section 8 like a while ago.
About time. Should have done it a long time ago. But it's like they cut that off a long. They cut that off. That's good. They should have done it a long. They should have done it long ago. You know, 3 hours and 42 minutes of remaining drive. Because if they would have cut it off a long time ago, we would have been in a situation a little bit later. You know. I guarantee you that once they get across the state border and get to a truck stop, there's going to be a homeless person. You know.
Yeah. Well, in those old Fords, they didn't have like the collapsible hood cover. So like when they would get into like a head-on collision, or even just like where you like rear end somebody, sometimes the hood would fly off and decapitate the people who are driving it.
Let me break this to you. We need to remove warning labels. You know, there needs to be a removing of warning labels. You know.
That's been a position of yours for a very long time. I agree 100%.
Yep.
Being from like a Hispanic and Asian background, I actually agree with that.
We need their own point labels. It's just that simple. We've allowed people to be stupid.
True. Well, be not necessarily. Well, yeah, we allow them the opportunity because it's like we rather. A lot of people could teach themselves after learning from a mistake, but we've allowed people not the opportunity to learn from their mistakes anymore. So we just basically forgiving everyone, give everyone participation trophy.
And that's the problem. That's always good. That's gonna be, and it's good. It's gonna stay like that, sadly.
Yeah, that gave me a lot of rage when I was younger.
And like you won't be told that you're a freaking loser until you're grown, right? You know, that's what sucks. It's like these cats won't be told that they're losers until they're grown. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And like freaking Red. There was Cam Petey. I remember he once described his situation when he was growing up. He was like, I used to party. I used to do this. It's like, yeah, we were probably. I mean, people when they're young, they enjoy their life a lot, but then it's only until like when they actually get onto the real world where they like experience adversity, and only then can they really enjoy what it is that they like. Because if you're not ever facing adversity, you don't enjoy anything. Your life just kind of happens to you, even though you might be like flying in a jet or something. It's still at the end of the day, something's gonna happen. It's gonna rip you out of your comfort zone. And
I didn't get participation trophies. You know, I never got those. Never got participation trophies. You know, I did. I mean, but I guess what?
What? You never got one? Oh, pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that anytime there was a participation trophy, I probably wasn't there to receive it. But I definitely competed my fair share in my younger years. I did. There was a lot of things that I was interested in, and so there's a lot of things that I wanted to associate myself with other people to learn more about it. And it wasn't until doing all those group things where I realized that whatever recognition that people were looking for, it was just always false to me. Like it just didn't make sense. Like why would you want to get first when you could get second and learn more about yourself? It's like everybody wants to get these like these accolades and stuff, and it just didn't make sense to me because I was like, I don't really care about that. I want to learn what I came here to learn. And you're making it about something that's asinine and like stupid and emotional. And it's stuff like that would make me, that I never had a way to put words to. And then when I got into the red pill, I realized like feminized men, gynocentrism, society being not being like it being impossible for society to allow certain people to accept responsibility. And then I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Like that makes a whole lot of sense now, looking back at it. And then when I found MGTOW, I was like, oh shit. You're like, now it's not only that I realized that, but now there's like actually a solution. Like I can actually help myself by not continuing to abuse myself by entering into these relationships. And then yeah, it's all it is you get more time to think about your situation, more time to enjoy after all the adversity that you face. You're not all constantly on the to-do list train, and you're just you're just like living your free life. More time to think about how you're getting screwed over too. That's the real shit. That is the revolutionary component of MGTOW. Is you get so much time that you're just sitting around thinking like, God damn, get fucked. As soon as I have a chance, I'm like walk away from all this. Some of it, some will call it a flawed mentality. I resonate with, or like that resonates with me sometimes. I like to think about the devil's advocate too. I mean, we all do as people. We want to feel wanted. We want to feel like we belong. And for some of us, like a job actually does that. A job actually helps us accomplish that, to feel wanted, to feel like you're who you are matters. And so a lot of us just like to stick to our job. And I think the problem that a lot of
back again. But
you actually dropped out. Yeah. I know. I noticed you were dropped out. I just kept rolling with the title. Where did you drop out at?
Shit, I know. But have you ever played football?
Yeah. Why?
You ever heard of a thing called the mercy rule?
Yeah. The more touchdowns you score, you like over your opponent, they just quit.
They just basically keep the clock running. Now, on the East Coast, where I grew up, back in the, I say, 60s, 70s, my school was well known for being a what's the word? We were known for
Yeah, I'm gonna catch.
For being merciless.
Merciless?
We were known for being merciless.
Merciless.
Yeah. Merciless,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were known for because we scored touchdowns and we didn't care.
Oh yeah. No chill.
We were hard hitting. We got state champ. We always got state or city or the state championship.
Yeah.
But nowadays, when I went to play for them, we were the worst team. And there was one time where we had the mercy rule applied to us. When we were the sole reason for the mercy rule.
Were you guys like scoring on yourselves or what?
No, basically we were listen. My school that I played for, I didn't actually go to that school because I got kicked out of the public school system. But I was allowed to play for them, mostly due to my violent tendencies that I had. But we were.
I barely scraped by. I took public school in stride, but I did like.
No.
I did not perform that well.
I got kicked out of the public school system because of my violent tendencies.
Yeah.
I was violent also.
I was very psychically violent, but I never really caused a lot of violence because I had that materialist childhood. You guys know what I'm talking about out there. Come on. You know what? You guys know what I'm talking about. You walk to the arcade, you do the arcade thing. You maybe spend some time there. You sleep at the arcade, maybe. And for the most part, you're fine. But you said you grew up like in a village, right?
It was a village setting, not a village per se. It was a village like setting. There were in the neighborhood that there were we literally looked at the kids. The adults would always. My dad would always know what I did. whenever I got caught. You know?
Yeah. He was ahead of it. He was ahead of that, all that information.
He knew, like I said, he knew what I was doing. He basically, like, the neighbors would be first to call my dad or my house. So everybody knew the everybody's phone number.
All right, you guys, don't dox me, bros. Okay, just don't dox me.
Don't show your face.
I'm not gonna show my face.
Okay, but I was like I said, that the whole neighborhood knew who I was, whose child I was, and I couldn't get away with nothing. I literally could not get away with anything. And it's like, for that, I mean, that was a village, you know? That was a proper village setting. My mom would bake pies and cakes, like from the fruit trees in our backyard. We would, and it's like we all traded our fruit trees, and our tomatoes are in season. We got enough for the neighborhood, so we'll trade you. We like some when your pears are in season. Okay, we like some of your pears. You know, it was a village setting. There was a store across the street, but it was closed down after a while. It was a storefront setting. There were stores across down the street across the bridge from where I live.
I'll tell you one time I did actually almost get lost in the city, like when I was like a really young kid. But I used to have this friend Ashanti. He basically would take me, like, he would find a way. We would always find like a way out. Right. We would never get caught. We would never get caught in like the deep in the city where like all like the bad stuff would happen.
Right, but think about this. We barely had the need to go outside of our neighborhood unless it was something that we had, that's something big, like something bigger than toilet paper. You know, we could get our meats from the neighborhood. We could get our bread from the neighborhood. We could get our toilet paper from the neighborhood. Most of our canned goods from the neighborhood. And kids could sit up there and get snacks from the neighborhood.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Our dollars stayed in that neighborhood, circulated through that neighborhood. What happened? Kids that take up their mom and pop stores. And the stores got closed down, and then after a while, dilapidated and then torn down. So our dollar left our neighborhood. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened in the neighborhood.
Any semblance of culture is just bought people wait for the smallest bit of culture to leak through. Like you notice with the whole 50 and Lil Wayne situation. Like they've been like spotted talking recently about Red Bull stuff. It's like, yeah, people want to just take every single shred of this, you know, and make money out of it, and like and poach it, and just like because you know they talk about dating exotic women, like that right there is a perfect way of explaining it. Like, see, it's always easier to explain stuff when it has if you do it through like the lens of men and women. It's like that. Yeah, go ahead. You're gonna say something.
There's something I want to say about that, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna say about it. In the 1950s, black women did it to themselves. Let me tell you something. Black women died first, and then black men died. Black women died when they accepted being told that they could get money, they could get free money, free food, free this, free that, free amenities if they kick their men out the house. It's called child support and welfare. Women later. When we could not raise our children, when we could not bring up our children with morals, we died. Many years later, when many of us did not know who our fathers were, when Pookie and Ray Ray, grown up from a single mother household, was bringing drugs into the goddamn neighborhood, freaking plugging every single chick in that neighborhood. That is when we died. We died. We are black Americans are a dead culture. We are dead. We are dead. Socially, we're dead.
Whoa. You're talking about Doresius Malone. Like Quisha Jackson.
I am talking about people. I am talking. You know what? I'm talking about Michael Jordan. I'm talking about freaking. What's his name? That picked up that Yusuf Thought, that basketball player. Yeah, him. He's dead too.
Yeah. Stephen Curry.
Russell Westbrook. He's dead. I'm dead. Every black person in America who is not either adopted into another culture or adopted another culture, or who is able to bring their children up, who are basically not together, who are basically any black person that is not together with the mother of their children in a healthy relationship, we're dead. You're dead. It's just that simple. You're dead. BLM ain't gonna help you. BLM was hijacked. Piss off. You are dead. You are socially dead. You are economically dead. We are morally dead. Many of us are morally dead. We are emotionally dead. That is why I say I'm already dead. I'm just waiting to put my casket. Yes, I'm going to say it. Yes, I said it. And Stuart Monk, if you're there, you can confirm this if you want. You can confirm this. I mean, or you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I am already dead. I accept the fact that I'm already dead. I'm just waiting to be put in my casket. I mean, measure my casket out. I'm 6'2". Like I said, it's what it is. And I'm not adopted into another culture. I don't have children, nor do I don't have children, which might be a good thing right now. Especially, I don't have children with a black woman. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, by sticking to the program and living out the fantasy of these politicians set for you, you're basically putting yourself into a double bind where you have to be like that.
Look, I don't. My brother had kids. My brother's got kids. My brother's already been ran through the child support prayer. He's about to be ran through, and I hope without hope that he doesn't. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be ran through the divorce alimony ringer. For everything he brings in is going to go to her. You know, for everything he brings in is going to go to her. Every penny, every cent, every dollar.
And how do you feel about that? Being on the outside looking in, do you feel any?
I tried to hint as to why I do the things that I do,
Yeah, that's all you can
lead
do.
a
That's
horse,
all you can do.
you lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. My brother's basically, it's got this. It's basically, I got this. He got this. I'm older. I know more type mentality. And basically,
That's the thing. That's that. You lose it. You lose. You use the. You use it or lose it or something like that.
Yep, pretty
That's
much.
like that's that whole mentality. It's like no.
Okay.
If
You know, my mentality was like, I let you water. You don't want to drink. Okay, have fun. Better use the name.
and he's just like he's shaming you for having standards.
I got 50 right. You better, you're damn right. I better have standards. I better damn well have standards. Nobody
Yes.
else is gonna have standards.
Correct.
I'm going to, like I said, every time,
And then there's always a response afterwards. Well, you're
bitter.
well, okay. I was gonna say who hurt you, but then I was thinking of
You're bitter. Who hurt
that's
you?
basically
You'll
yeah.
find the
It
right
pretty
one.
much it probably was who hurt you at the end of the day because it goes then.
At the end of the day, who hurt you? At the end of the day, you'll find somebody. You'll find there's somebody for everyone. At the end of the day, just put yourself out there. At the end of the day, it's that contradictory line. Maybe you just stop looking. It'll fall in your lap. At the end of the day, it's like maybe there's something wrong with you. There's always something fucking wrong with you, and not with the situation.
And then they're like, "Do you have any daughters? Do you have any daughters?
What, do you have any
Do you have
sisters?
Do you have a
What would
mother?"
your sister say about this? Don't you have a mother? I mean, well, better yet, my favorite is you owe it to black, you owe it to this because your mother is. Actually, better yet, it's gonna be generalized. You owe it to this because your mother is this. Black,
Yeah, even if your dad's black, you still since your dad's black, people won't even mention him as a justification, but they'll still give you that black guilt feeling.
Right. They'll give you the white guilt. They'll give you the Filipino guilt.
They give you the Filipino guilt. Yeah. They give you the other side of you guilt. Yeah.
Right. I don't like that. I killed that a long time ago. I don't feel any guilt.
Or you can be adopted into another culture. If you can somehow adopt yourself into another culture. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
They have to accept me. They would have to accept me. And let me bring this to you. I paid my debts to my mother when she died when I was a kid. I paid my debts to my grandfather, who served in World War II, died with maybe 1/4 of a lung. That's a tough old man. I paid my debts to my grandfather, my grandmother, died in slavery. I paid my debts to my dad, to where I helped change the world, to where after getting out of chemotherapy, after having heart attacks, after having strokes, and still was able to keep on kicking, keep driving, I changed his bandages on a wound that was still leaking out pus, I paid my debts to him. I changed his bandage. I made sure that he stayed clean. Gave him his baths in his weakened state. I made sure that he stayed active as best as he could. There's nothing like seeing your father, who had just came out of a surgery, who's in a weakened state, get back on a bicycle, swim in a pool. There's nothing more rewarding than seeing your own father, who's in a weakened state, get back on a bicycle. That was rewarding to me. I got my rewards. I paid my debts. Anybody who scams me saying, you have a mother, you have military. But this is a grown ass, is a grown woman.
Then at this point in the conversation, like I feel like most people realize they've bitten off more they can chew, trying to argue with you. Yeah.
That's why. And that's the difference. I look for debts that I've paid. I've paid my debts. Hell, Why did you freaking try to freaking ring me up when I was paying my debts? Why didn't you try to settle down when I was still paying my debts? Why didn't you, when I was interested and I was still paying my debts, when I was still paying my debts to my mother, when I was still paying my debts to my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, why didn't you say, hey, we make a great couple? Before you gave up that Heimegen to goddamn freaking Pookie, and basically have your freaking attachments to Pookie and Ray Ray. Why did you freaking choose who you gave that freaking first time to? Why didn't you choose a better? I mean, personally, I'll tell you why I didn't put my first time in because I was so eager to lose it. I lost it. Oh well. I wish I'd have kept it. If I'd have kept it, oh well. I probably would have never had. I probably have more great to say that.
This is why people they call you gay. When they're like, you're gay. So then it's like, wait,
Okay.
you're a liberal and you're shaming me for being gay? Like, isn't that pretty homophobic?
Is that pretty much? Aren't you? So you're telling me gay? Well, are you must be homophobic then? I ain't slept with a dude last time I checked. I ain't slept with the dude. You know, and I haven't slept with the same man as the dude last time I checked. But okay, whatever boat you're floating and puts hope in your mouth. You know. Whatever boat you're floating puts hope in your mouth. Because at that point, you have graduated to full-on potato. Well, you know.
Dude, we think a lot alike. Yeah.
Like,
it's always.
I love it. I love when people say this. Like, see, nobody had like, well, I got something for the who hurt you? Nobody any more than I can hurt myself. And now come on. How could nobody hurt you anymore than you hurt yourself? Now let's go back in history. We had a culture that stems from Japan, which basically is the sub foundation of Japan of a samurai. You know what the samurai, whenever they basically screwed up, they used to take a small dagger or whatever sharp implement that they had, drive it into their gut, drag it across their gut, and they'll perform a upward thrust into their diaphragm. Now, if they were lucky, they had a friend to decapitate them, so that to show mercy.
Yeah,
If they
but
were
some people like they lived into the late age and like lost all of their friends due to battle. So when they killed themselves, like no one was there to save them.
Right. Nobody
because
was there.
The young kids, they didn't even really I don't even think they really understood it because it was starting to go out with like culturally, like it's not
right, but it's still subconsciously a part of their culture. Hell, the Yakuza, whenever they wrong somebody, they basically cut off the tip of their pinky and present it to their lord, their boss. That is a subconscious part of their culture. So you basically, when you say who hurt you, I said nobody any more than I can hurt myself.
Well, it's like trauma. It's like they're atoning for trauma.
Right, they're atoning for trauma. So nobody any more than I can hurt myself. Because I could, if I really worked at it, I could be anybody. If anybody really worked at that, they could literally be the same way.
Man, this is why MGTOW works, because it's like the more you consider the shaming
from other people who doubt your philosophy to be true, the less likely you are to like actually go your own way because you're being torn about by public opinion. You're
And
being
then
like,
when
yeah.
true public opinion, I don't care about what the public thinks about me, but look here, my voice is already out there. I don't need to show my face. I don't feel that I need to show my face. You know why? Because there are people that recognize my voice. There are people that recognize my voice. Especially when I start speaking red pill knowledge. I mean, yes, I will delve into the black pill. I will walk the line. I will not fall into that hole. I will delve in. I will dabble in. I will walk the line. You know why I will walk the line? Is because the when you get into the line, when you get to the line, your view is skewed. When you stick your head in, your views are skewed.
Yeah, it will be like if you were to go, like if you were in a movie theater and you were to go to the closest seat to the screen. It's like, yeah, you see you see like the bigger picture, but it's like it's warped because you're like sitting in a suboptimal position,
Right. Sitting in a suboptimal position. In a very suboptimal position. And you don't fail to see the bigger picture. That's why I tend to sit toward the back. Now, when like I said, I was taught never go into. I was not only taught, I was raised and trained never go into a sniper's dinner plate. Never go into an artilleryman's cereal bowl. A sniper's dinner plate is a plain, is a wide open field with little to no vegetation. A artillery in a motorman's cereal bowl is a valley. Is a valley.
Yeah.
It's basically a valley surrounded by two or more hills. They get this long artillery over the mountain, over the hillside, and drop it upon you, upon thy personnel. I was trained, I was taught, I was raised, never go into a situation like that. If it looks wrong, if it looks messed up, 9 times out of 10, it is. If it looks messed up, 9 times out of 10, it is messed up. And I will avoid
and that's a problem with CGI too.
What?
Because CGI basically like it trains you to see something that isn't there. And then you go into that idea and then all of a sudden you lose track of like the actual movie, like what's happening. Because you're believing this falsehood.
Would you like to know how long it took? Would you like to know how long it took me to make MGTOW and Red Pill content when I first heard about it?
Yeah. How long?
A year and a half.
Really?
Yeah, a year and a half.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
You know why it took me a year and a half to make that content? Because I wanted to know what I was fully well getting into before I did something, before I committed.
Yeah, me too. I definitely wanted to get my feet wet before, because I feel like you kind of have to commit to it before you start putting videos. You can't be trying to figure it out as you're posting videos about it.
Right. And there's you gotta basically put yourself into it and understand if you show your face, what are the consequences? I didn't have find the resources to distort my voice, but even though I do, is pointless because the damage of distorting my voice is already done. The damage is already done. So distorting my voice is too late, too late now. But showing my face, I have control over it.
Yeah.
It's like if I were to show my face, especially with what I say, and how I say it, there would be both those amount of people that would dox me, that would harass my family, that I still have contact with, that would harass my friends. Now, it would not be in the best interest, but they would do it anyway. They would harass my job. They would harass my command. You tell them to make an apology video. Or do something to him. Do something, make him face some sort of consequences. Boo.
Yeah.
My command knows me.
Give him some tears on camera.
Give some tears on camera. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they want.
I mean,
that's flesh. That's flesh. That's a pound of flesh nowadays. Like your positive face on social media. Basically,
right.
Like what people want to see. Apology. I want to see him grow. Apology.
I want to see him burn. I want to see him miserable. I want to see him hungry.
Yeah.
I want to see him starving. I want to see him broken. I want to see him destroyed emotionally. That's what they want. That's why I don't show my face. Because any other time they with the arguments, I will at least put up one hell of a challenge. You know?
Well, that's not really. I mean, it's not really challenging.
Right.
Like you saw, we did that really quick in like less than like 10 minutes. We basically broke down all the shaming tactics, everything that they do, everything that they use. So that being said, the only way to act accordingly to retain your philosophy is just to keep this story, keep the facts straight, and then have faith. I think that's the most that you can do. That's who you are. And if you show your face, that's fine. It's fine.
I wouldn't even bother.
It's not on anybody else. It's not people's fault that they react negatively to what you say. That's their indoctrination. That's their indoctrination.
I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if oh, you must be.
Yo. You're roboting.
You must be being handcuffed because you don't show your face. Now, I don't show my face because of security reasons. And there's nothing you can do to change my mind otherwise. Nothing you can say or do to change my mind. It's just that simple. You don't like what I got to say? Well, suck it up. Nothing's going to change. Everything's going to remain the same. I'm going to continue to not show my face. You're going to be continuing to guess who I am. And let me tell you about something about humans. They don't typically recognize visual. I mean, not visual, but audio. Ask them a question. There are people that will ask, what do I think about statues being torn down? First, now, let me bring this to you. Have you noticed that all the statues are men?
Yeah.
None of the statues are women.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, women can be racist too. I don't know if you noticed that, but
I do this.
There's this woman out there. Her name is Karen. Yeah, she's really racist.
Let me say something here. Why if you're so busy so gung-ho and frog copy about tearing down statues, why don't you tear down Helen Keller's statue?
Yeah, exactly. She's like talking to
let's do some research. Let's do some research here. Let's see. If Helen Keller family owned slaves, you know what? If we're going to do that, Since
You
we're
know
gonna go
what?
there,
Win. Who hurt you, Win? Who hurt you, Win? Really? Who hurt you?
nobody anymore. I can hurt myself.
You're right. That is a good comeback. But it doesn't win. Obviously, it won't win. That won the argument. They still be like, oh, well, he ain't shit nigga then because he be hurt himself. Damn, look at him, so sad.
Yep. I'm an ain't shit motherfucker. I'm an ain't shit motherfucker with a bank account and a degree.
Yeah, I mean, in their definition, I am, which I'd rather remain so than to be like a celebrity in Hollywood, where it's like faced with the only reason that they can be liberal and not be just absolutely repulsive because they have a lot of money.
Yep. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh. Oh, guess what? Guess what?
What?
I'm looking at something right here. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, it was in Alabama. Oh, boy.
What happened?
Oh, I think we're getting somewhere here. Basically, yes, I think her family did own slaves.
Helen Keller?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not able to read it right now, but if you look it up, you'll be able to open it.
She's like, oh God, our daughter Helen is blind and deaf. Well, look at it on the bright side. At least she doesn't see the hell.
Actually, when you said this, as an adult, Helen furthered Sullivan's progressive ideals for worker rights and suffrage of racial inequality. Well, I can't really say tear down that statue, but I'm pretty sure somebody will tear down that statue eventually. But as an adult, not as a child.
It's funny. I think it's funny because now you can hide your appearance much better with the mask. So it's like it's strange. So it's like I feel like I always think that like maybe behind one of those masks somebody's like a MGTOW content creator or Red Pill content creator or something like that. Yeah. What do you know? I'm always interrogating everybody I meet, every man that I meet. If I see like shopping, buy, like I Sherlock Holmes. I turn into Sherlock Holmes, like shopping, buy for themselves. No girlfriend, no this, no kids. Seems like junk food. Maybe, perhaps red pill. I like do the whole deductive logic thing. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Well,
I love it.
All I do is listen. My favorite thing is to look at the couple's faces. You know.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. And then if you see a girl that you be like consider cute, you'd be like, oh, she's cute. Oh, look at this. Let's see. And then like I don't know. There's so many different dynamics out there. It's funny when you get to watch it all and not have to participate in one while watching, because you know that their partner's always bringing you away from those situations, those learning experiences.
Eye-opening. My thing is, like, I will look a woman look past them. Basically, if I'm in the vicinity, I'll just glance at it. It's like nothing, like it's nothing, you know? Like, they're not even there. They're just basically like, oh, let's keep on moving, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that, I go down one aisle, go up the next. But I will go down one aisle, go up the next. They can't read.
You know, if you just say like, just have your brain say to your eyes like, man, she does have a lot of ass around, and
Just your response would be like, well, yeah, you have that in abundance. Everywhere you look, there's somebody's wearing yoga pants or something. So
Right.
it's not like you're looking at something like novel. It's just the mode, you know?
Something you ain't never seen before.
Right.
It's something you ain't never seen before. So it's not like something you ain't never seen before. You know? Let's see.
Right.
And it's like something is it's like what? Yoga band?
Yeah.
It's basically it's a competition.
Well, it's sad that they'll never want to teach that in school, but they want to teach like anal sex in school. Like
Right.
they never teach you how to avoid
That
women, but they teach you how to like fuck people in the ass. So pardon my French, I'm sorry, but it's just like the double standard is that such that like that's the reason why a lot of people who make content I'm just saying that's the reason why a lot of people who make content online are crass or like when they express themselves they're a little bit because we tell men to hold that shit in. Not let it out. It's a shame.
It's like, I mean, I don't agree with, I don't do the no fap thing. I don't mess around with it. You know? That's just me. I'm not gonna say anything negative about it. I'm not gonna say, I mean, okay, you have to set the discipline. But I'm not gonna sit up there.
What if the only existences in terms of like sexual energy were just no fap, vaginal, anal, and then or like oral or like yeah.
Or
it's
your
like
hand.
yeah, or your no, like that's what they're trying to get rid of. They're getting rid of it. Like they shame people who masturbate, but if you let somebody suck your dick, or if you want to have sex with somebody anally, that's totally okay. Like you can't abstinence and like even like masturbation and stuff is just frowned upon.
Right?
Yeah, and that's what no fap is. And I mean, that's what people who preach no fap are conjuring up into like the hive mind. It's just that like your dick is not good as long as it's not if it's just if it's not busting into something that gets saps resources from you, then it's bad. It's a bad dick. It needs to be castrated.
Let me say something. Let me say something here. I don't do no fap because I'm not going to fight an unnecessary battle. You know, I'm not going to try to fight win a lifelong. Basically, you ever been to an AA class? You know why they always say you're in recovery?
Yeah. Yeah,
you
because they're hoping that you get better.
They're hoping no. You're always in recovery because at any given moment, you can always fall off the bandwagon. At any given moment, you can always take that first drink. That first drink that you were 20 years clean, 10 years clean, 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years clean. You know? 5, 10, 15, 20 years plus clean.
Yeah, you get your little badge for it too.
You get your little chip for it. Little badge, a little chip, your little keychain for being 5, 10, 15, 20 years clean. 6 months clean. 1 year clean. It will 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, and it goes up in increments. But the thing is,
that's the thing. But people don't understand that limits their option. That limits your options on an enjoyable life. Like when you have to carry around a pin that signifies your purity, that limits the amount of options you have. It may not limit you. It may not limit you consciously. Like you might not be. You're like, no, I can do so much more when I'm not. Drinking. I can go for a hike, and I can do this, and I can be bald, and I can do this, and I can be Dave, and I can be Dylan, and I can be.
Have you been to an AA meeting? I've been to an AA meeting. So many of them cats are miserable as fuck. I've been to an NA meeting. Many of them cats are miserable as fuck. Because they done tore their life up. They lost good paying jobs. They lost some freaking spouse. They're learning the main. The worst job, you brought it on yourself. You know, it's good that you're getting clean, but what they don't realize is there's a chance that they may never see their children again. And me personally, if I'm ever in that situation, if my children want nothing to do with me, after a certain time, I'm just gonna freaking say, screw it all. You know? Because let me make this to you. Some people take it to the next level. In a little doctor's bag, they carry a bottle of beer, a bottle opener, and a 1 round and a revolver. You know why? Because for many of those people, if they ever pick up another drink, it's going to be the end of them, you know? They already know that. Now, for me, it's like, I don't have, I've been there. The reason I went there is because she was like, well, that's the fact that I did the military felt that I had a problem. But I was more responsible than the majority of them. So I don't hold any grudges. Okay, it's whatever they felt. But I did get some good education, you know?
Well, yeah, you can't really hold a power or a place of responsibility and a grudge at the same time. You have to let one of those go. And
they felt that I had a problem. I got some good education, you know? And that's why I always tried to limit the amount of stress in my life that I had. That's why I always keep my stress level at as much of a minimum as I possibly can.
That's like this law of attraction bullshit with the NoFap. They're trying to tell you that anything that happens to you, you can attribute to you not wanting to let go of your stress, your desire to relieve stress. Like you just need to let it get so complicated for you in your life that you'll magically change and like force yourself to like make quote unquote better habits, good habits, or better decisions. And it's all still blue pill at the end of the day. It's all still like a part of this gynocentrism. Like they're like, oh, now sex is much better. It's like wait. What?
Yeah. Let me break this to you. No fat. For me, that puts me in too much danger. You know, that puts me in too much danger to be put back on a plantation. You know?
Yeah.
That puts me in too much danger to be put back on a plantation.
Well, yeah, just because something's unprecedented doesn't mean you do it. Just because you want to have like a revolutionary attitude about the world. I mean, like you're still stuck in the matrix at the end of the day. It's like most people weren't trying to do all the cheat codes and stuff and learn everything that there is to learn and stuff because there just wasn't enough time. Yeah.
There's too much to learn.
Exactly. Once you start learning, you're gonna realize like, okay, now I'm very serious about one subject. It's like what am I gonna do with that in life practically? You know?
Look, one thing about me is like when I get like I said, I don't partake in no fat because I'm a church type. And when I get like that, I get tired. That means I'm tired, you know? That means anyway, I better take a 30 minutes, take some time in the sleeper berth and take it handle business. Huh?
Well, that's the thing is like when I'm on like if I do NoFap, it's like, yo, I have so much energy.
No, me, I get tired. Whenever I try to no fap, I got tired. I get sleepy behind the wheel. That's not.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. My sleep schedule actually gets better. My sleep schedule gets better when I'm on no.
No, I'm a truck driver. I have a 11 driving, 11 on, 10 off.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the load. If I'm picking up a load at 8 o'clock and I get hours back at 3, that means I gotta wait a few hours. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it goes back to the responsibility thing. Like I said, almost like 80. Or no, it's pretty much like 90% of all that there is to do goes towards like a very small portion of the population. So it's like while you're saying on NoFap, like there's a bunch of these people out here who just fap and they never do anything. It's like the people that fap the most are the people that need to, because they live very stressful lives. Or it's like it's not that. Like, I get it if you have a problem here just on the street, and you're masturbating on the street, like, because you hear about that a lot. Homeless people like masturbating on the street or in the bus, and it's like they have to relieve stress. Like, everybody has to relieve stress. That's a normal thing. It's a natural thing. If you don't relieve stress, you will commit a crime.
Right?
It's just like, I don't get what people don't understand about that. Like, well, I disagree. Well, what do you disagree about that with? Well, it just portrays women badly. It portrays women as just sexual objects. Like, you are sexual. Like, your body is a sexual object.
You do it to yourself. You do it to yourself.
I'm like, why does the porn video exist if it's not? If watching it is, misogynistic? Well, because they're dominated by the those girls are being oppressed by the patriarchy. Okay, well, they make their own decisions and they own their own, or like they sign the contract.
Better yet, why do you wear yoga pants? Why do you wear a thong bikini? Why do you wear a skimpy
Well,
dress?
it doesn't apply for everyone, because you still have trad cons that are against porn. Like, you people who are more traditionalists that are against porn, so they dress like modestly, but they're still against male stress relief.
So what about female stress relief? Are they against that too?
Yeah. It's like, if you're okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and not relieve any stress, be able to be awake for like 3 days at a time. But if I got to do that, then you have to be able to not ever flick the bean, not ever just get all your chakras online, start burning sage, start using crystals.
Yeah. If I can't do it, if I gotta stop,
you got to become a voodoo witch. You got to know every single spell and incantation from the Hogwarts book.
Like, and that's what gets me. That's what gets me. It's like, you're not willing to do this. Get bent. Get bent. You're not willing to do this. Get bent. That's exactly all it is. You're not willing to do that. Get bent. Leave me to my stress relief, and I'll leave you to your stress relief, and we just basically leave each other alone.
And it's so funny, because it's like, there's only so much time in a day that she needs to have of yours. And the funny thing about it is that never ends. Just anything that you're willing to give her, she puts that into the calendar. So you don't even have time to rub one out.
And she wants more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Give her an inch of rope, she's going to want more rope. You give her 5, it's going to be a mile of rope by the time you're done with it.
Sure.
And you'll have nothing to give. Nothing for yourself. Nothing for yourself. And that's not a life I'm willing to accept or live. Okay.
All right. Did you guys, or do we, were there any more topics? Were there any more topics?
As far as I know,
Yeah,
no.
Blood. I'm gonna have to go get this Tico Trend video into before I have to work. So I'm gonna take off.
Is Tico Church making another live stream today?
Yeah, I think he's posting. Yeah, there's a table flip tonight. You guys are gonna start it, and then I'll probably jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be starting my 34. Like as soon as I get to my destination, or at least close to my destination, it's probably going to be doing an
People will probably be there, or like some people will probably make it there. So you're fine. You don't have to. You don't have to make it if you gotta get some sleep, playa.
I gotta no. I mean, I gotta do an 8. I split sleep first anyway. You know, I mean, I gotta get up at 11. That's be 11 or 12. So I'd rather get up at 11 to get moving around and walk my dog a bit. You know.
Yeah. Hey, I'm always cool with whatever you do. I always support, man. I like the video too on my way out too. I like the YouTube video. So.
Alrighty.
I don't think you have any dislikes.
But it's like, it's what it is. Like, I think people have began to leave me alone, you know. But him, it was nice talking to you. It's nice. It was a pleasure, you know.
Thank you. You as well. Have a good one. I'll maybe see you later today, hopefully.
Hey, if you want, all right. If you want, put it in Discord as well. You know, some of the Discord servers.
Wait, what's up?
If you want, put the link in some of the Discord servers.
For the StreamYard? For this one?
Yeah. I might go over there for a few extra miles.
Okay.
Depending on if I'm dropping air pressure. If I'm dropping air pressure, I'm pulling over to the next stop.
Okay. Yeah, I'll post it. See if anybody comes out by. All right, player. See you later.
All right. See you later. All right. Now, my understanding, we're gonna tackle the Blackfield. Because I'm pretty sure the reason I don't do the Blackfield. I've already said I'm not going to do a sniper's plate or an artilleryman or a motorman's cereal bowl. Another reason that I don't do the Blackfield, I just basically walk the line because there's a lot of people that will literally take their own take on. I don't do that whole look at some crap, you know. Right? Because I don't understand it, but it is. But if I don't understand it, I'm not gonna mess with it. Greetings. Double I. Oh, we got the track. Let's do Double I. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well, Wind. What's up with you, brother? What are you up to?
I'm still basically surprised. I'm caught surprise, you know. Whatever goes, you know.
How goes it today? Where's the weather and where are you at?
I am in Georgia at the 101 at the 101 exit headed south.
Nice, Georgia. Yeah, good. Yep. Good state. Good state. I'm glad you're out of North Carolina.
I haven't been in North Carolina in months. I'm also hoping that the lights don't go out in Georgia.
No, I think it's going to take a lot to put the lights out in Georgia. They got it covered.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't think they don't want to hang it in this man again. You know?
Oh no, definitely not.
I said I'm headed south to one of my yards into the yard down further south, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rolling.
Yep, pretty much.
I can't wait till you do some live feeds on the road. That would be some awesome stuff.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. Like, hold on, I gotta check it.
Let's see who we got in chat.
Yeah, you're gonna be pretty much my eyes, because I don't know who's in here and what, why.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Pay attention to your thing. Let's see. MGTOW Aaron Monk is in here. Looks like MGTOW Thread, Stone Reaper. Welcome to all of you gentlemen. MGTOW Life, welcome. Looks like Sigma E was also in here, and I believe I didn't miss anybody. New Era, MGTOW Monk, Stone Reaper, MGTOW Life, MGTOW Thread, Sigma E. Yeah, you got a full roster here, man. You got a bunch of people in the chat.
Yeah. I'm just doing what I do. Like I said, I just talked about black pill knowledge, freaking no fab, a few other topics like what you call true equality. Like if you do the one, you got to do the other. You know. Well, that's actually let me get into that one. It's
Okay.
called, there's a term in aviation called weight and balance. You know?
Yes.
You know about that.
I do.
It means basically what you do to one side of the aircraft, you have to do to the other side. You have to do either add or take away from the other side to counteract that weight, that center of gravity shift.
Okay.
What we are witnessing here is a center of gravity shift in the dynamics of social interaction. The center of gravity shift has shifted so far drastically to one side that another side is taking it upon themselves to shift it back in the center. Part of that, I believe, is due to the fact that we have very little predators.
Yeah, no natural predators that take us out.
We have no natural predators to keep us in line. We have no natural predators to deplete the elderly. We have no natural predators to fight off, to fend off. We have put the fear in many natural predators that would prey upon us. We have domesticated many of our predators. So when you have that, you have time for a technological boom. Because you have nothing better to do. Now, we've also taken care of we've also pretty much inoculated against many major life-threatening diseases. We have basically almost eradicated many of the life-threatening diseases that would normally dwindle our population.
I think to the point where some things are starting to get made, like constructed diseases. But go on.
We've basically given us an artificial immunity to certain diseases. It's not gone per se. It is artificially immunized. It's an artificial immunization. Now, the problem with an artificial immunization is now you have how would I say this? You have basically ability to live slightly longer. and the ability to advance technology in a longer amount of time and not have to pass it on to somebody else. The problem we're having is we have no predators to keep the dynamics of humanity in place. We have no diseases. We have no diseases to keep the dynamics of humanity in place. Hold on, you know damn well you're doing at 65. Why, or 65, 62? Why are you trying to keep up with me? You're gonna lose. But we have no natural predators. So now we have
not just natural predators. I think our natural selection has dwindled down, right? So because we've taken out all of the diseases and everything like that, so predators as far.
We have also left us warning labels.
Yeah,
you know,
the fucking warning labels.
We don't allow people to think about the consequences to their actions.
Yeah.
This is bleach. This is bleach. We know about bleach. I know bleach is toxic, and just maybe, I should not drink this.
No, but wait a minute. It kills the coronavirus. Stop. Let's just stop before your video gets flagged. Cut it out.
But it's like, I want you to really think about this. We have warning labels on the most mundane things, like perfume, like soap, dish soap, laundry detergent.
In the defense of perfume, I think there should be warning labels on perfume, because some of the stuff that they get perfumes out of, you don't even want to know, like secretions of some,
I think
animal.
I think carousel, the caracal animal.
Yeah.
I know it's a type of cat. I know it's a type of cat that they get these secretions, the perfume from.
Yeah. And they're putting it on their body and their face and shit like that. It's like, okay,
right.
What do you know what this is? Do you know? No, you don't, because there's no warning label.
They also mix it with maybe a flower or two just to make it smell pretty, I guess. And they also will put alcohol in it.
So is it safe to say that Wind would never purchase perfume as a gift for anyone?
I personally, let's say you can buy a steak, she can buy her damn self. She's strong and independent. She can buy her damn self.
Damn right.
She can buy her damn self. She's strong and independent.
That's right.
It's what it is. You brought this, like I said, the mentality. I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna detract back into female nature, because it's not only a reminder to myself, it's a reminder of everybody else. Just slightly. Basically, any women that are listening to this podcast, watching this, whatever, you caused it. I'm just a result. I'm just a product of the environment. I'm just a product of the environment. Now we're gonna go forward. Speaking of the environment,
don't hate the player, hate the system that the player is stuck within.
Right. I said, speaking of the environment, like I said, the way I see it, once we did away with our natural predators, it allowed us to prosper and flourish. Now, our natural predators are not completely gone. They're just scared. That's the reason that deer, foxes, and raccoons and squirrels all live in the inner city. That is the reason that raccoons, squirrels, foxes, and deer live in the city. In some cases, they are going deeper into the city because the predators are not there. The hunters are not there.
Yeah, it's just
Think
the
about
man,
it.
the man animals walking around. They're not hurting anybody because they got plenty of food. As a matter of fact, they got extra food that they throw away
Right.
inside of cans that they can go find.
Right. Hell, some people feed them.
Yeah,
Some
pigeons.
people feed them.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've seen like a deer cam or backyard critter cam. So I see this one guy feeding all sorts of raccoons and stuff like that. And yeah, then we wonder, all his neighbors must really love this guy. You know, you got raccoons running around like a motherfucker, and you, the whole.
Inner city, if you want a 12-point buck, look at it. That's where they are. They're in the city. They are in the city.
That would be a good practical joke to play on your neighbors, though. You know, like feed the natural critters in the area, so there's more of them. They multiply.
Yep. And that's the type of thing that I probably would do if it wasn't for the fact that my neighbors are pretty good. But I like the fact that I like my neighbors.
You know, if coyotes didn't go after kids, I'd probably feed the coyotes. Any
Yeah.
coyotes listening, if y'all want to be fed by Double I, make sure you keep your attacks to only small pets like rabbits and squirrels and
Chihuahua.
things like that. Chihuahuas, yeah, you could take the occasional chihuahua, but leave the humans alone, coyotes. Bad coyotes.
It says we don't have a sense of humor.
That was actually a hell of an eye opener when I first time I came out west, just watching a coyote prance down the road like it owns a damn place. I'm like, there's a coyote walking down the damn street, and the guy at the front desk at the hotel is looking at me like, yeah.
You want to know
So-
what the eye opener the two eye openers that I had?
What's that?
My first eye opener was when I was mobilizing.
I'm not hearing you.
My first eye opener when I was mobilizing for deployment, I saw a coyote just walk strutting across the base. Literally,
No shit.
like he owned the joint. My
It's my
second eye
place.
opener, like my second eye opener is when I saw a pit when I saw my first pit viper in Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll wake you up real quick.
that'll wake you up real quick. That'll wake you up real quick. Those sidewinder snakes. Oh yeah, that'll wake you up. That'll open your eyes.
Yeah, I've run into rattlers out in the desert.
Shoot, and where I was at, rattlesnakes. There are rattlesnakes where I'm at right now. Where I'm going, where I'm at right now, there are crocodiles. There are probably crocodiles. Alligators.
No, there's alligators definitely. And if you
Yeah,
go further south, if you get into the like what's that lake called? Lake Okeechobee, near there in Florida.
Water moccasins, water moccasins, alligators.
Dude, we saw pythons
Not
shooting out
surprised.
in the middle of the Everglades, shooting guns and stuff like that. We go out there shooting, right? And then every once in a while you run across things like some big alligators or things like that if you're real quiet. And sometimes you run into pythons, big snakes.
Pythons, freaking water moccasins,
Mm-hmm.
also known as cottonmouths. You don't piss them. And do not piss the wildlife. That's the number one thing. Like, the wildlife is supposed to be. How am I not supposed to piss with it? Wildlife is pissing with me.
I will take you out into the wild.
it's like that's the thing. It's like we don't have natural predators to keep the balance between humanity.
So what's your next trip in the wild? Speaking of the wild.
In the wild.
Yeah, when all of this COVID goes away, like I'm sure you go hiking and you know, trekking, maybe mountain climbing, maybe walking. I don't know. Whatever you do, Wind.
Just going to walk, just going to random walk wherever.
Okay, so like when you have a couple of days off and you're like, okay, I would like to go there when I have a couple of days off. What's the first on your list?
Point a direction and walk. Spin around, point a direction, walk. That's pretty much all about that.
No particular spot then.
No particular spot, just walk. Walk until I find something interesting. And if it's interesting, partake in that activity. If there's a LARPing festival, a live action role playing festival, I might just don some freaking armor. I might just purchase some goddamn LARPing equipment. Put that LARPing equipment on and just do it. Just to say I did it. If there's a festival like a classic car show, and while I'm walking, I'm gonna see that classic car, truck, tractor trailer, or whatever. Whatever seems interesting,
Yeah.
And if it just so happens that it's some sort of event going on that looks interesting, watermelon festival, watermelon wine tasting festival, and I got a couple days off, guess what? I'll participate in it.
Nice.
That's just me.
Yeah, see, I'm the place that I'm thinking about. Like, I'll give you an idea of what the level I was thinking. Like, first major trip, I think I want to make. Like, all the bets are off, right? Right at this point, all the trips that I had planned for earlier this year are all gone. Like we're 6 months in, and this shit is getting loud again. So anyway, so my next trip, I hope, will either be Joshua Tree, or I'm thinking possibly Red Rock Canyon in Las Vegas.
That ain't too bad. Shoot, I'd love to go to Las Vegas.
You're more than welcome to join me.
I mean,
you hike?
Speed trap, okay. I'm down about 2 miles per hour. I'm 70, so we live at 70. That's good. So basically, I have a question. What made you think going on the tail of the dragon that was probably a good idea?
Oh, did you look it up?
Yes, I did. What the hell is this monstrosity? People die on that shit.
Yes, they do. So I took the tail 3 times. 3 times. It was every time it was freaking awesome, right? I mean, obviously 3 times that I went to the tail of the dragon, but there were multiple runs up and down. So, not 3 times and that was it. You don't just go to the tail of the dragon, do it once and turn around and go. If you're, pretty enthusiastic about the tail of the dragon, you like, turns and stuff like that, you're going to enjoy all sorts of roads in that whole area. So the tail of the dragon is just one thing.
Man,
but
I mean, I ain't taking this truck on the tail of the dragon.
No, definitely not. You'll get stuck. So there's so many other roads on the tail or around the tail that are so much nicer, like just the tail of the dragon is just one thing, right? So the first time I went, it was in a I believe that was the BMW, and it was a what do you call it? An Alpina B10 V8 modified is what I had. I had a stream of BMWs behind me, and I got pulled over in North Carolina on the way down there, and that's when I got my famous speeding ticket. I didn't get a speeding ticket on the tail of the dragon, even though it was like Tennessee state troopers were all over that road. I mean, they were just waiting for some motorcyclist or car to come down that road and speed. Because as you said, people have died on that road. Yeah.
mileage. How fast was you going?
Oh, you can't go very fast. See, that's just it. That's just it. You know, you're thinking NASCAR. I'm thinking technical, right? So you've got to put together a vehicle that grips very well. So, you know, motorcycle is the best choice. The second time I did it was on a motorcycle. It was on a Suzuki. So on the tail, essentially, you know, you're one with the road. It's you and the road, unless you got a bunch of traffic in front of you. Then it's you, the road, and the traffic. But the whole draw of that road is negotiating and navigating each one of those turns. You know, it's like it's where the rubber actually meets the road. You know, you're doing about 35 miles an hour or less. I think your top speed on that road will probably be somewhere like I want to say 40, 45, but that's about it, right? So you've got to have a car that can handle curves very well, number one. You got to be able to whip the back out of it if you know how. So drifting on some of those would be nice, but they won't allow it. I know it's a drifter's wet dream. Obviously, there's a whole lot of switchbacks.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if those drifters, the people in Japan, those drift king, whatever come in, like they probably
Oh yeah.
try it.
Oh, they do. If you look it up, there's actually weekends in the summertime that are just filled up on the Tail of the Dragon calendar. There's actually a full-time photographer. He goes out and camps on one of the switchbacks where he has view up and down the road, and basically people go by him flying and they get their picture taken, and then they go on his website and he sells it to them. That's how much of it's commercialized, the Tail of the Dragon.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Think about it. That probably was an old horse trail, horse and buggy trail.
You never know. Yeah, exactly, with all those switchbacks, because there's no way in hell they would have made that for a vehicle.
Yeah, it's 2 hours, you know?
Yeah, man.
I'm just waiting.
And don't you dare try and take an 18-wheeler through there, man. There's no way. You'll get stuck.
I know better than that. Like I said, there's some places that I won't even turn just because I'm in the truck. You know?
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I got to bounce, but thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's no problem. Hopefully I'll be on the live stream later on tonight.
It would be nice to have you.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Have a great day. Drive safe.
All right. Like I said, I'm gonna cut this live stream off right here because I gotta go look for a truck stop, get some fuel, maybe get me a freaking new airline. Probably upload a video of me changing an airline. But this is Nick Town the Win. It's been a pleasure, gents. It's been a pleasure. Signing off.